being unstoppable beats being locked in. What do I mean by this? A lot of people, when they say that they want to be, locked in, or that they're locked in right now, it means that they're going to the gym all the time. They got their diet on lock. They're doing all these things. They're making their money. They're doing all these things to get where they want to be. And that's a good thing. But a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's just some filter that goes over their life for, however many months or however many X years they want to do this for. And they forget to live life, right? Like, being locked in is in some ways virtuous if there's an end goal to it. But if you're just doing it for the sake of being locked in, it's really selfish. And you forget about other people and other relationships that you can have. So I like to say that instead of being that, you become unstoppable. And what this means is that you're always moving along towards the goal. And sometimes maybe you need to press a little harder than other times, right? Sometimes you maybe got to apply the brakes and slow down. It doesn't mean, you're fully stopping. It just means you're slowing things down to where you can achieve it at a better pace. Where it's like, if you're going to make a turn, and you're going really fast, you got to slow down to make that turn, else you're going to lose traction. It's the same way with life. Sometimes when you're encountering something that's very serious, or something in your life, and you're not used to it, you got to slow down and apply the brakes a little bit to get around that turn and come out with your foot on the gas pedal after you make that turn, right? So if you sort of see what's going on in my mind here, it's like, unstoppable means that you adapt to every situation and every aspect of life, and you don't just trust in this this filter that you're supposed to put over your life, where it's like, this is my own personality, I'm locking into this, like, nothing's changing, this is just me, and I'm only going to progress in these ways, if you sort of get what I'm saying. But it's, to be honest with you, it's more of just a process of enjoying life and still reaching your goals. It's like the best of both worlds. That's the thing that people don't understand, is they think that they can only be locked in means they can't talk to anybody, means they can't have friends, they can't pursue new relationships, they can't change certain things in their life that maybe they think don't work with other things that they're changing. And this is what I mean with, like, the optimization for success, right? Is you optimize everything to be as good as possible. It won't always be as good as possible, but you aim for that goal. You know what I mean? You shoot for the stars, you go as far as you can. But you realize that some things, the way life is, it's going to happen in certain ways. Some things may take longer, but it's still a matter of you putting in the effort, of course. But I think if you think about it in a way where it's like you become unstoppable to anything, any challenge that arises in your life, it's a better outlook than being like, oh, I'm going to be, so locked in for this period of time. Instead, it's just, let me be unstoppable from here on out for the rest of my life, where I'm going to reach my goals, and I'm just, maybe a certain month period is going to look different than the next, right? Maybe one, you're not talking to much people, maybe you're more in solitude and like a positive sort of isolation that you need. And then maybe after that's over, you realize you kind of transition, and you sort of almost, in a sense, you're sort of transitioning your, like, the minor priorities, if you get what I'm saying. You're still achieving that main goal, but things look a little different. Maybe you need a friend to help you along in this certain area of life. Maybe you're working a job with your coworkers, or maybe you're going to college with, and you're with your roommates or whatever, and you're getting these plans together, right? That looks different than when maybe you were at home for another period of time where you just needed to lock in and get things done. I said locked in there, even though that's not what I'm saying. But if you still get the gist of what I'm saying, it's not this, filter of a lock-in. It's not this preset thing you throw onto your life, that, like, it's a thing you order at the store and it's just a one-size-fits-all. No, it's you become unstoppable when you adapt to every single situation that you're faced with to best optimize your life. And it's a learning process. That's what, when people are saying that they're locked in, it's like, oh, you have it down on day one. You don't have it down on day one. You're going to have to go through so many processes of learning and understanding new things, but that's just a part of the process. It's the want to optimize the process. For me, as an industrial engineer, or soon to be, that's what I love. That's what it's all about, is optimizing the process and making things more efficient and more smooth. And it's really why I love talking about this stuff, because so many of us we can't do this with our mind because we're going too fast, or we don't understand, truly what's helpful for us and what's not. For me, it was like I was very much this like locked in person where it's like I got to be locked in. I got to have these certain aspects of my life, looking certain ways for certain people to see or whatever, or even just for myself. But it's like truly you adapt to different situations. If things are going well for you, and you got a lot going for you right now, then just ride that wave, take that for the positives, all of it is. And, if you're in a mourning period of something and life isn't going good for you, you can still take the positive out of that and succeed just as much and arguably grow your person and character more than you ever would when you are on that high wave of success. But all of it culminates into your life story, who you're going to be. So I kind of had a lot to say there. I was really excited to get this video off. So let me know what kind of thoughts that you guys have too. I'm really enjoying making these videos and really getting used to it. It's been fun already, just over a couple days. So if you guys have any advice for me as I make these videos, I'll maybe look at some comments to see what you guys say. But let me know your thoughts as well too. If it's like maybe you had the same experience where it's like, this isn't working for me, the stuff that social media tells me isn't working for me, and you're right, it doesn't. It's not a one size fits all, you know what I mean? You got to learn how to adapt it to your life and who you are as a person. But remember that you're always getting better and always growing. So anyways, again, let me know your thoughts in the comments and all that. But anyway, thanks for watching.